Shalom family, viewer update. The Benaiah Israel channel is moving over to Rumble. Please join us over on our new platform. You can find a link in the description to our new Rumble channel called Hidden Hebrews. Hope to see you there, family. Shalom. Shalom, shalom, Yisrael. It's your brother Benaiah ben Israel, coming to you with a call to action, with yet another report of wrongdoing by none other than the enemies of Yisrael. You see, this call to action goes all the way back to a benign post made by our brother Kyrie Irvings in October of 2022. For it was after that post that we witnessed an unprecedented attack against African Israelite communities both at home and abroad. And of course, the primary perpetrators of these attacks was none other than the Ashkenazi founded and funded Anti-Defamation League, which repeatedly used its influence to commit acts of defamation against African Israelite communities in plain sight.
So with all that said, there's a range of practice and observance. So there are plenty of black Jews who go to what you might call traditional Jewish synagogue. Then there are other communities like the black Hebrew Israelites. Now, there's a range of practice even among black Hebrew Israelites. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a large community of them in Israel who identify as Jewish in a traditional way. And then you have the guys in Times Square who observe in a way that's not so traditional, I would say.
They would say y'all aren't Jews. They would say that, what they say, white people are not the original Jews, basically.
Correct. Yeah. And look, they're entitled to their beliefs until that justifies shooting Jewish people with pellet guns on Staten Island. Or like, this is December. 3 years ago, December 2019, two black Hebrew Israelites went into a kosher supermarket in Jersey City and killed 3 people because they said they weren't real Jews.
Wow.
Shot them cold dead in a kosher supermarket.
There has been considerable reporting that these 2 suspects are linked to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. We have evidence that both suspects expressed interest in this group, but we have not definitively established any formal links to that organization or to any other group. Based on the available evidence, we believe that the 2 shooters were acting on their own.
So again, you're entitled to believe whatever you want, but I think we need to recognize that rhetoric can have real world consequences. So when we talk about what is anti-Semitism, it's black Hebrew Israelites this weekend. What, today's Monday? Tuesday.
Wednesday.
It's going to air on Wednesday.
Sorry. So it is over this past weekend in Staten Island on Sunday, a Jewish man who he must have been Orthodox because you could identify that he was Jewish, and his son were shot by a young man with a pellet gun as they came out of
BB guns. I did see that, yeah.
And so when he was asked by the police, they said it was a hate crime. He said, how could it be a hate crime if I'm a Hebrew?
And now for the truth. This is the picture of the man arrested and charged for the crime of which Jonathan Greenblatt implies was committed by a black man, a black Hebrew Israelite man. However, the person who committed the crime is called Jason Kish, which is a Jewish name, who is a white Caucasian male. You see, Jonathan Greenblatt's and the ADL's practice of making accusations against so-called Negroes goes back many, many years. In fact, the ADL was founded when the courts failed to convict a black man instead of convicting Ashkenazi Jew Leo Franks. And family, those are just a few examples of how the ADL commits acts of defamation against so-called Negroes in plain sight. In fact, we find a troubling pattern of repeatedly finding ADL's involvement in some of the biggest obstacles against the African American community. For example, it's a well-known fact that the African American community has suffered immensely from police brutality over the years. And you may be surprised to discover that none other than the ADL provides specialized training to both local and federal law enforcement. In fact, in many cases, it's considered required training. This should be of major concerns to the African American community, and perhaps one should inquire, what exactly are they teaching local law enforcement about people of color? In the early 1900s, just before the rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan, which was ushered in by a racist blockbuster film called Birth of a Nation, we curiously find the ADL getting into the film industry. We can even find the ADL working with the very movie studio which produced the racist film Birth of a Nation months before the racist film began filming. This movie revitalized the Ku Klux Klan, which directly led to massacres in the African American communities across the country, which includes Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and the Red Summer. And if you're interested, you can buy your very own brand new Blu-ray copy of this racist masterpiece for sale at Barnes & Noble today, with a Barnes & Noble editorial review by an apparent Ashkenazi promoting the film as a must-see. A Barnes & Noble editorial review. President Wilson praised it as history with lightning. Audiences flocked to see it at record high ticket prices, and critics lauded its undeniable technical brilliance. But this landmark epic's sympathetic treatment of the Ku Klux Klan sparked protests by African Americans and fierce controversy that continues to this day. To watch D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation is to shift between delight at the subtle and brilliant acting of such Griffith regulars as Henry B. Walthall and Lillian Gish, amazement at the power of its innovative cinematography by the renowned Billy Bitzer, and dismay at its unashamed racism. Its dependence on blackface stereotypes and its hysteria about the idea of miscegenation. Nonetheless, this Civil War tale, which follows two families one Southern, the other Northern, through the bloody conflict and bitterness of Reconstruction, is a must-see. Small and sensitively staged scenes, particularly the homecoming, still packed an emotional wallop. The film's richly detailed storytelling, large scope, and visual energy helped change the course of cinema forever. Barnes & Noble, Karen Backstein. The film Birth of a Nation was filmed by Ashkenazi Billy Bitzer. Wardrobe provided by Ashkenazi Robert Goldstein, partially distributed by Ashkenazi Louis B. Mayer, and shown in theaters managed by Ashkenazis Erlanger, Klaw, and Schubert, and approved by the ADL's Film Censorship Board, and now promoted by Barnes & Noble Ashkenazi editor Karen Backstein. And we note shortly after the release of this film, membership in the Ku Klux Klan exploded into a mushroom cloud of hundreds of thousands of white hooded domestic terrorists in less than 10 years. And of course, during this deadly rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan, tragic, horrible massacres rained down upon unsuspecting Negro communities under the shadow of the pyramid of hate. As the following reference reads, it reads, History Channel, How the Birth of a Nation Revived the Ku Klux Klan, or reads, The Birth of a Nation opens glorifying the Ku Klux Klan. Because of its explicit racism, Birth of a Nation is also regarded as one of the most offensive films ever made. Actually titled The Klansman for its first month of release. Skipping ahead, Birth of a Nation caused riots in several cities and was banned in others, but was seen by millions. Skipping ahead, there is no doubt that Birth of a Nation played no small part in winning wide public acceptance for an organization that was originally founded as an anti-black and anti-federal terrorist group. Before D.W. Griffith's time, motion pictures were short, uninspiring, and poorly produced, acted, and edited. Under his guidance, filmmaking became an art form, despite the harm his Birth of a Nation inflicted on African Americans. He will forever be regarded as the father of cinema. Hold up, the father of cinema? Based on a film about the KKK? You gotta be kidding. And so, here we are. A film called by the History Channel as one of the most offensive films of all times. Promoted by Barnes & Noble as a must-see, which the Encyclopedia Britannica, among others, have attributed to the rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan, and eventually led to Negro massacres across the country. and still on shelves to this day at your friendly neighborhood Barnes & Noble stores. However, when our brother Kyrie Irving tweeted about a movie called Hebrews to Negroes, which led to Barnes & Noble pulling the book off its shelves because it was offensive. Offensive because it states that the Jews controlled Hollywood, a fact testified by the ADL's own history, in which it created censorship boards to control Hollywood. A statement of fact celebrated in the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, which celebrates the Ashkenazi motion picture founders. For a fee, of course. And apparently, it's not offensive or anti-Semitic if the ADL says it, or if President Jonathan Greenblatt writes about it in the Hollywood Reporter. Apparently, it's only offensive if a black man says it. Here's the deal, family. Barnes & Noble feels as though they can promote and support a film about the Ku Klux Klan, which it states is one of the most offensive films of all times, and a film which has directly led to massacres within the Negro community. However, on the other hand, they outright banned a film made by a black film producer, evidently more offensive than the film promoting the terrorist group, the KKK, all because a black film's film states that the Jews run Hollywood, and other debunked anti-Semitic accusations levied by the racist Anti-Defamation League. Family, this racist bias cannot stand. No longer should these companies be allowed to make light of the Negro plight, suffering, and tragedy, while selectively banning a film based on obvious bias. Birth of a Nation was founded, produced, and distributed by Ashkenazis such as Billy Bitzer, Robert Goldstein, Louis B. Mayer, and others. And if Barnes & Noble considers this movie as must-see, then so should the film and book Hebrews to Negroes be considered must-see. With that said, family, we ask that you email, call, text, chat, and tweet Barnes & Noble and demand that they reinstate Hebrews to Negroes back on their shelves. As long as it continues to sell the most offensive anti-black film of all time, Barnes & Noble should allow Hebrews to Negroes to be sold at its stores as well. Let them know that their discrimination will not stand. Join us in our Barnes is Not Noble campaign for justice, and let our voices be heard. Enough is enough. So Israel, thank you in advance for your time, your help, and your support. And please like, share, and spread the word to your family and friends. Israelite Avengers, assemble for justice. Shalom.